Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. I don't know quite how to word it, but on Facebook, I get these messages, people I might know, and I look at their name and I look at their profile. And this one says, and I love it, here for music and nothing but music. My guest is singer, songwriter, pianist at Peter Tam Music, Peter Tam. Welcome to the show.
How's it going?
It's going great, thank you. It's a beautiful sunny day, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was reading your part of your bio, and it says you really enjoy entertaining people and make them happy through your music, right?
Yes. Well, I just started doing this since 2019.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, 2019. So it wasn't. I'm a newbie.
All right.
I'm new at it. I used to do um, aviation engineering analyst.
Yeah, I saw that.
So so I after the Juno Awards, I got a chance to get involved with that, and I decided to tackle dealing with getting into the music industry full time.
Right.
And I don't know if you've seen one of my posts. I kind of said that it's one of the toughest job I ever had. It's actually easier to manage a multi-million-dollar national engineering tracking system than just being a musician.
Yes. Yeah. Now you mentioned the Juno Awards. Now, how did it come about that you got involved with that?
Well, I wrote some songs before, and I got an email one time. It says, "Do you want to be a judge?" So and I said yes. So and since then I've judged a few number of Junos back in 2010,
Mm-hmm.
and because this is all volunteer work, it's a lot of work, going through 20, 30 albums, and each one have like 12 to songs or so. So it's a lot of music to listen to. So it takes time, but I did it a few times, and I did it again, in 2019. And for all the judges and delegates, you get invited to the award shows. You get VIP status, and so I went to the 2019 one with that was in London, Ontario,
Okay.
and you get to have dinner. There's a special VIP dinner with all the nominees and sponsors, delegates, and so I had get a chance to meet up face to face with people like David Foster and Michael Bublé and a whole bunch of. I just mentioned you those names because these are the sort of like heroes or people that I admire in the music industry. So so it's a big deal for me, and there was a lot of other things happening, during the Juno Award weekend, 3 4 days worth of conferences, sessions, and all kinds of things. And I'm just so lucky to attend a session with David Foster. So it was very inspiring, and I think from that point on, I decided that this is yeah, I'm gonna follow my dream because I've always loved music.
Right.
And but like I said, it's a tough job. it's
Yeah. Yes.
and it looks like fun, but if you're really trying to really make it a business, it is very difficult.
Right. Yeah. I've heard that from a lot of musicians that it's, and our painters and all that. It's really hard to make a living. Most of them have other jobs that they do, right?
Yeah.
Now, having
Yes.
mentioned, mentioning Michael Bublé, you worked with his first producer for your single, That's for the Rain, correct?
Yeah, that's Andrew Vansley. He produced Michael Bublé's first album.
Right.
And so when he was in Vancouver, I kind of look him up and ask him if he would produce that song for me, and he said yes, and we did.
That's so nice to be able to get those connections, right?
It's there's a lot of connections. There's a lot of people out there. And sometimes it's again it's the difficult thing is really knowing um, who it really that really works out for you.
Mm-hmm.
So as a new artist, an emerging artist, I'm still looking for all kinds of different things. I'm trying different. Working with different people. I'm working with a female vocalist right now, who's also a songwriter, and we're trying to put some shows together because I found out that um, duet seems to work better. It gives it a nice vocal harmony, and so I found she's also a piano player, so we just do this duo piano thing. And we booked a whole bunch of shows for Christmas that's coming up. So we're gonna try all kinds of different things. I had a trio and quartet, all kinds of different things to see what works in the market, and there's different market too. So there's the songwriting part, which is just completely production,
Right.
And then there's the performance part, which is you go out there and you play cover songs, whatever it takes to entertain the crowd. So somehow, you kind of have to kind of find this medium of what really makes it entertaining, make it sound good, and where people will try to get you out there more often. So that's I'm still looking for that, and I think like most musicians, they're constantly looking for new things, constantly changing to create something new, and that's the wonderful thing about this whole industry. It's the creativeness. It's just constantly pushing you to be as creative as you can, because if you don't create, then you should just give up and get a job with Domino Pizza or something.
Nothing wrong with Domino's Pizza, just saying. Now, your genre of music is jazz, is that correct?
Yes. And now jazz has there's a lot of different jazz.
Okay.
There's what I'm doing is more like a pop jazz. Like it's, it follows some of the popular standards, like in the old 1940s, the things that, jazz kind of separates into all kinds of different minor differences. And there are certain jazz that requires a lot of skill. Mm-hmm. And I'm not at that level. I just don't have that, super skill. And but what I'm trying to get at is something that's a little bit that's more palatable for the more general public. So even if you are not really a jazz connoisseur, you might still
enjoy that.
Yeah. Entertain. Yeah, you might still enjoy some of the things I'm doing, because it kind of bridge over with just regular popular music, and but just jazzed up a little bit, just to give it that type of feel. And also with jazz, there's also bossa nova, which is more like a Latin jazz, right. Samba. Makes that in there. So that's the direction I'm trying to go in. I don't, it's, yeah. And I think I'm just going to keep working at it. It's sometimes, again, you're creating something, but you also need to create a uniqueness and a brand. And that's what I've been doing. I'm just sticking to the branding. Right. And even though I'm trying something new all the time, but within the boundary of my branding, and the branding is that jazz type of bossa nova type of genre, and that's
so it's finding your niche, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah, it's just I'm just trying to be a little unique, and yes. So when people look up when people talk, who's Peter Tam? Oh yeah, he's a jazz, like piano jazz singer guy. That's it makes it easier for you to be pigeonholed into something, especially when you're going for grants. And I just made a submission to I submitted my latest album to for Juno Awards.
Right.
It might not even get nominated, but it'll stick it in and see what happens. But it's so like many awards, you always need to describe what your genre is. So you have to pick something. And I think that's sometimes it kind of defeats the purpose, right? It's supposed to be creativity and you're supposed to be creating something new, but you're forced to pigeonhole, get yourself pigeonhole somewhere to say what it is. And that's something that I'm still struggling with that, because sometimes like I mentioned, I'm trying not to make it like completely like really that jazz. I don't know how to explain it. That like old jazz, like older, there's different type of jazz. I just call it crazy jazz.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and it's got hundreds. You take a regular song you take a country song. It usually have about 4 or 5 chords in it, and then you have like people like Billy Joe, Elton John. They have maybe somewhere around 20 different chords.
Okay.
And then you go to these like jazz. You may have 200 different chords in it.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, that's what it is right now. Got lots of shows booked. I have a Rise Up TV. I'm involved with that.
Good.
We're doing an island tour, November 23rd to the 27th.
Right.
Playing at so I'm touring with a whole bunch of people. You probably know them, Bruce Copeland. Oh,
wow.
Bruce is with Tiller Follies.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he's playing at the Thai Mark Theater with Tiller Folly this coming week, and he was on my show, my dad's Sunday Night Music, last night.
Right.
I have him out because I wanted to all the people that I'm touring with. I want to bring them out to my live stream on the Sunday night. So Bruce was on last night. And then next week is Ashley Patter. And then after that is Tim Steinruck. And there's a couple of other people too, but they're on the island. So I really couldn't, bring them into my studio here.
Right.
It'd be a little bit difficult. Sarah Smith. So it's, people like Bruce, and even Ashley, even though she's like only 20, I think she's 22, but she's been playing way longer than I have. And so is Bruce. That man had maybe about 7,000 songs in his head. I'm lucky to remember 70. So so a lot of people, a lot of musicians that I meet up with have just some really amazing skill. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm so lucky to and honored to get a chance to work with them. Right. And bring them into my show and then this tour that coming up. So it's gonna be great to be able to. I'm looking at it as a learning experience. Every day, everything that I do is a learning experience, because everything I'm just learning. And I think same as a lot of people, especially right now with COVID, everything's changing. This cross-platform of virtual streaming, live, everything is cross a hybrid of streaming and live. Some live are coming back. So I think that's the way it's going to go too. So it's that's why I'm keeping up with this Sunday night music show. And just like what you're doing right now, it's this is a whole new way of doing things, and it's becoming. I think it's here to stay. Not just to accommodate COVID, but it's here to stay, and it's going to build up and create a whole economy on itself. So
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's just for me personally, it's opened up a whole new world. You know, I've been reaching people that I wouldn't normally reach. I get to speak to people wherever they are. It doesn't matter.
yeah.
When I was doing it live, I was limited to where, you know, to the people that I could connect with, have them come and interview at my place, or I would sometimes go on locations. But this is like, yeah, I love that. I love this. I have to admit, I love it. It's
So
not.
yeah, you're in Chilliwack, right?
Yes, yes.
Um, yeah, you know, I think before COVID, when you mentioned, like, even Maple Ridge is where I am.
Yeah.
But people in Vancouver say, "Oh, Maple Ridge is so far away." So,
Yeah, they don't see that when you're going the opposite way. Like, you know, yes, it's just as far from Chilliwack to Vancouver. It is from Vancouver to Chilliwack.
yeah, but you know, it's not really that far anymore.
No.
I have a lot of friends in Chilliwack, especially, you know, friends in the Stolo Nation.
Oh, nice.
I have and a couple of an accordion player that also plays with me. She was on one of my songs on my album. Deborah Karts. She
Right.
lives in Chilliwack. She plays an accordion.
Right.
And I partner up with a gentleman named Bill Butler, who wrote four of the lyrics for my songs. He's also in Chilliwack.
Very good.
So I visit Chilliwack quite often, actually.
Nice.
I used to come up to, my favorite spot is the Tractor Grease Cafe.
Oh, right.
So unfortunately, I think they had to close it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Due to COVID.
Yes. One of the things that kind of fascinated me is you grew up with classic rock, right? Hearing classic rock, and yet you decided to go to, I'm going to call it Peter Tam style jazz.
Yeah, you know, music is, you know, the creativity and the uniqueness of what, you know, a lot of the music is when you, when a writer, when a creator is influenced by, you know, multiple genres, and they you know, create their own.
Mm-hmm.
So like even Gershwin, if you look at, you know, the famous Gershwin is classical.
Right.
And he start, you know, mixing into the blues who start coming in, you know, at that time, that getting a lot of influence from, you know, the Southern style type of bluesy type of music, and he started mixing that with classical. So that's the whole, you know, that's the whole new creation of a lot of things that's happening today are from people like that, you know, for Gershwin, of just mixing things. So yeah, I grew up with classic rock because, you know, I grew up in the 80s, um, but jazz is what I listened to when I was a little kid. It's, you know, my father listened to. That's why I call this Sunday night thing "Dad's music," because a lot of the songs, they start coming back to me when I hear it. It reminds me of things I heard when I was little. I'm, you know, talking about like 5, 6 year old type of thing. You know, the Frank Sinatra, the Nat King Cole. You know, these are the things that my father used to listen to.
Right. Right.
And I wasn't. It's just, you know, I think my brain is just going back into, you know, the old memories, and when these things comes up, it's in there. It's in those old memories, and it kind of pushes me to explore them more. So that's why I start learning about them, and start learning these music,
Right.
learn to play them, and but when I'm writing, I guess because I have all these influence from, you know, all these past year, all the different type of music that I enjoy. It subconsciously, you know, getting there, and hopefully it's creating a whole new genre.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
Classic rock jazz.
Yeah, well, there you go. Isn't that marvelous?
Yeah.
Speaking of growing up now, I saw that you're from Burlington, Ontario originally.
Yeah.
I lived there, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, from 1981 to 1995, I believe it was. Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of interesting. So
whereabouts did you live?
I was on Montgomery Drive. It's
Okay.
the northern part. I can't even remember what the area was called now.
It's Upper Middle Road, I think.
Pardon?
Between Highway 5 and Upper Middle Road.
Could be. No? I can't quite remember. It's where, you know, it was like where the it was kind of the Shakespearean area where when there was Tintagel and there was like all the names of those streets were all, I can't remember. Oh. I don't even remember the name of the highway that we lived off of. I can't remember. Been too long.
Yeah. So I grew up there, went to I went to public school, high school, live in the old part, I guess. In Burlington, there's a new street. That's the main street, and that's where pretty much everything is. Right. And we live close by to there, and the area is called Appleby. I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember.
Well, it's one of the big roads. Like there's Guelph Line, Appleby Road.
Oh, there you go.
Branch Street.
Right. Ours was off of Guelph Line. I remember that part. And probably between Guelph and Highway 5. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I got it. So what brought you to Vancouver, to BC?
Well, I was in the engineering data management. I don't know, that's all I've been doing.
Right.
And I was working for a company in California.
Oh.
So I had to travel to LA pretty much once a month. And the travel was pretty, so this is back in the 1990s.
Right.
And the time change, you know, being in Ontario is just, like even right now, yesterday when the time changed, just 1 hour.
Yes.
It affects people, you know.
It does, yeah.
So even just 3 hours, not a big deal, but you know, it's I'm out of commission for at least like 2 or 3 days to try to, you know, get back into the norm. So so that's when I decided that, you know, if I'm in BC, I can pop down to LA for, you know, just a 2-hour flight.
Yeah.
And I don't have the time change.
Yes.
And that's what happened. You know, after I've been flying back and forth for a year and a half, said my wife, both my wife and I, we loved it out here. We got married out here. We love to ski. We love to go, you know, be close to the ocean. So we said, you know, this is it. We should move.
Very good.
So, yeah, and then we just moved out here, and then we look at the prices of the houses in Vancouver, and it's like,
yeah,
yeah. Oh, this is like way back in 2000, like 1990, late 1999, and the price was comparing to Ontario was just completely already out of reach.
Absolutely.
You know, we couldn't afford anything closer. That's why we're here in Maple Ridge. It's they start building here. There's a lot of new subdivision going up, so that's how we ended up in Maple Ridge.
Right. Now you were a past president at the Rotary Club of Haney, correct?
Yes, I've been with the Rotary for about 12 years. Mm-hmm. So you know, I went to the washroom one time and came back and got voluntold that I'm president. That's, you know, that's how a lot of these, you know, volunteer clubs things works, you know, where I'll just step up to help out. And sometimes, you know, you do such a good job, you just keep going.
They want to keep you around. You were also, let's see, former air commissioner at Scouts Canada. area commissioner. I said air, but area commissioner.
Yes.
So what does that involve?
Well, scouts, it's scouts. So, you know, my kids were in scouts. I was a scout leader. And then eventually I became the commissioner of a scout group. And then there's the area is basically Mission, Maple Ridge, Pit Meadows. So, it's just kind of with scouting, it's almost like it's in a military format. So you have ranking and hierarchy and all that stuff. So so area commissioner, my area is Pit Meadows, Maple Ridge Mission.
Okay.
So I take care of all the scout groups, in charge of all the scout groups, and basically just run things in the area for a few years. So.
Well, we're running out of time, so I just want to get back to your show. Now, you do a live stream, you said, Rise Up TV. So how do people access that?
Rise Up TV is broadcast on Ruco TV. It's sort of like a Netflix type of thing.
Oh, I see.
It's a pay-per-view, similar to Netflix or Amazon Prime. So people would subscribe to Ruco TV, and this program, Rise Up TV, would be like a channel or a program that's on there. There are many episodes. So last week there was an episode of people, a bunch of musicians traveling to Edmonton,
right?
Doing and then the 23rd they're gonna film the Vancouver Island tour, and then after that they're gonna go and do a tour of the East Coast. But I'm not in that tour. I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, so I'm not going back. So,
I can you.
There's they're doing all these tours. There may be one for Europe, so I might get involved with that one. Germany and England, and so it's so the Rise Up TV is it's like a reality TV show about musicians being on the road.
Okay.
And so this show that I'm involved in, they got this huge travel trailer. It's not a bus. It's a Winnebago, and it's got bedrooms and kitchen and all that stuff in it. And so we're gonna drive that around from. It's gonna start from here, cross the ferry to Victoria, and then go up to Nanaimo, and then up to Campbell River, and maybe even Tofino. I said maybe because they're still working that out, because the road to Tofino is not the easiest to get to. So
now, is that the one from November 23rd to the 27th?
That's the one, November 23rd to 27th.
Now you're going to be at the Deer Lake Craft Fair, November 20th, correct?
That's at the Chabot Center.
Okay.
There's a big fair over there.
Right.
And then what else am I doing? There's little markets here and there. And I'm actually there's a lot of little shows that's not publicized. I play at a lot of seniors places. Some of them allow me to go in with a mask, and some of them what I do is I do a live stream. It's so I do a live stream on YouTube, and I stream to them, for a live show. So I do a lot of that that's not publicized, and I'm also working on some Christmas shows. I like Christmas. I like Christmas songs, and we're doing bringing my trio to Meadow Gardens in Pit Meadows. And the reason why I look for that place and trying to work with them to create the show is because they have a baby grand in the dining room.
Oh, nice.
So it creates, with the grand piano and the bass and the drums. So it's a perfect setting for a jazz trio. So that's why I'm doing a show there on December 12th, I think. It's sometimes with a lot of the shows, it's it's the whole ambiance too. You know, the jazz, creating that ambiance or the grand piano. It just makes a huge difference. So I don't do a lot of shows, but I try to make them really good shows and good quality, and you know, at least I don't know, some people might not like the sound, but at least it looks good.
There you go. So now if people want to get more information, they can just go to that website, http://petertam.ca, right?
Yes, I put all, because you know, every show has a different link to a ticket. Like
Right.
the Thai Mark Theater has its own ticket thing. Meadow Gardens has its own ticket thing. So on my website, I just put them all together, just one spot. You can find all the events, and you click onto the event, and it'll take you to the proper ticketing place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And people can also reach you personally on your Facebook page? Or would you?
Oh yeah, I love chatting with people on Facebook, and you know, just whichever way people want to contact me. I'm open to conversations. I'm open to work with musicians. Like, you know, like I said, I'm new to this,
Right.
and I'm just open to pretty much explore anything.
Great. Well, on that note, stay on camera while I say goodbye to the audience, because we're just about out of time. Okay, everybody, I really hope you enjoyed listening to Peter Tam, and I'm going to include his website. And again, he likes to talk to people, musicians on Facebook, not only musicians. I mean, he talked to me, didn't he? And I just have to have a musical name, that's all. So yeah, thank you for watching, and hope you watch again. Until then, everyone, peace out.
Bye.
I can find the off switch. I always have that problem.